What's up, y'all? What's up? What's up?
What's up? What's up? Man, we have so much to get going on. Carlita, that's so much has happened. I forgot to make a post, but I meant to. But anyway, welcome. You got Sadell Nicole, the lioness, and
Carlita Nicole, the quirky queen herself, Chi-Town, born and bred, Texas fed. What's up, y'all? And
God,
how about them Cowboys?
go. Let's go.
Yes, y'all know we have to start off with our Dallas Cowboys first and foremost because the haters continue to hate even after we scored 33 points in one quarter, and that never been done. And our defense is just exploding. Our offense is exploding. Man, look, all I want to say is the haters can kick rocks with open toed shoes. Okay. So
Right.
speaking of on my Dallas Cowboys, this game I was expecting for us to win. Absolutely, I expected for us to win, but I daggone sure did not expect for us to blow Indianapolis out the park like 54-19. And my bro, Dak, he went from 20 of 30. He only threw for 170 yards, which is crazy, but
Yeah.
he had 3 touchdowns. But listen, Tony Pollard had 2 touchdowns. Zeke had a touchdown. Malik Davis had a touchdown. CD Lamb had a
Like
touchdown. Michael
Oprah,
Gallup
you
had
get a car. You get a car.
right. I feel like Oprah giving
Yeah.
out gifts for Christmas. Listen, we were getting touchdowns left and right. And usually, that's not something that I don't think I've ever been able to say on Dope Sports Chicks. Let's
Right.
just be real about that. I don't think I've ever been able to say that. But y'all, listen, not only did we score 54 points and 33 of them in the fourth quarter, this performance was our best performance of the season in penalties. Y'all know that is huge, but all season long, we've been horrendous when it comes to penalties and the yards that we give up. But this game, we only had 3 penalties for 43 yards, which was so good compared to the rest of this season. And we were also 4 for 4 2 weeks in a row in the red zone. Why is that a big deal? Because y'all know in the red zone, we don't usually get the ball down the field and score touchdowns. We usually end up having a punt or kick a daggone field goal.
Right.
And so in the red zone, y'all, the fact that we're going 4 for 4 is huge. Okay. And the fact that it's been 2 weeks in a row is even huger for my Dallas Cowboys. So just shout out to the entire team because y'all already know how I feel about the Tony and the Pollard and the Zeke stats, right? Tony Pollard went 12 carries for 92 yards. And Zeke had 17 carries for 77 yards. I already told you about the touchdowns. This was Michael Gallup's best game. Our defense sacked Matt Ryan 3 times. He had 3 interceptions. Y'all, at this point, haters, what more do you want from us? Seriously, what more do you want from us? We're playing.
What more do they want? They're secretly undercover fans because they just watching every game, looking for stuff to critique. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, right now we're playing good ball. Honestly, the best that we've had in a very long time.
True story.
Now, we just got to get past the second round.
Okay, and that's a possibility, right? Because, okay, why y'all? First of all, the Giants and the Commanders, did they tie this week? They
Girl,
did.
that was ugly. 20-20.
It was a horrible, ugly game, but they tied, which is good for the Dallas Cowboys, who they're now 2 games behind us, and we're still 2 games behind Philly. This is week 14. We have a few more weeks left in the season. Anything could happen. Our game this week is against the Texans. We're going to beat the Texans, okay? So that's going to be another win for us. It'll be another divisional game that the Eagles will play this week. So we will get to see. Hopefully, the Eagles will end up losing a game or two in these next few games. Of course, they're going to lose to us on Christmas Eve.
I can't wait
So,
for that game. I don't see them losing any other games though.
okay, look, they have pushed out like some really close wins against teams that those games shouldn't have even been as close as they were.
And I do
So,
get that, but they try and change up and do different things on Jalen, and then Jalen changes up and does different things on them. I just, you know, I don't know on their schedule. I don't know who can beat them. I don't know until we get to Christmas Eve, and I do feel like we'll beat them.
we will. And we will. So, okay, so real quick, let's just uh knock out this OBJ talk. Our Dallas Cowboys did not sign him. We did not give him an offer. Why? Because when he did come, they saw him work out. Apparently, it didn't look as if his ACL injury that he got last season in the Super Bowl game would warrant him coming back before January. And that's problematic because we're talking about playoffs and really trying to change up our scheme to fit someone else. I'm not really sure if we needed that, but also it's not like we our receiving core right now consists of CD Lamb, who has played so much better since Dak has been back. You can see the difference in his numbers between Cooper Rush and Dak. So I'm not concerned about CD Lamb like I was a few weeks ago, but like I told y'all, Michael Gallup played his best game, and I knew it was gonna take some oiling of the wheel a little bit, but he got there, and he's playing great. We still have Noah Brown, but our tight end core, yo. So I really feel like between the tight ends and our receivers and Tony Pollard, um, catching passes as well. I think as long like we can tighten up our areas. Let's keep with what we have, work with what we have, and make sure that we're being super creative on our offense and not having that vanilla offense that we've had previously that was super predictable that everybody knew we was doing all the time. So that's that as far as my Dallas Cowboys are concerned. But Sadell, okay. So real quick, there's a couple of games that I have a few questions about. For instance, this Cincinnati game against the Chiefs. Cincinnati beat the Chiefs for the third time in a row, and each of those games was within 3 points. Super close games. The difference this time, though, the reason why I'm asking this question, because I really want to know, Sadell, where, like, what you think from a coach's point of view. So at the end of their game, the Chiefs had the ball on fourth down in the fourth quarter. Instead of going for it on fourth down, they elected to kick the ball in hopes of getting the ball back because it was still like 4 minutes or so left in the game. So they were hoping, well, we're going to kick a field goal and then we'll get the ball back. First of all, they did get that field goal. I don't think they made that field goal.
Right.
First of all, they did not get the ball back. Like once Cincy got the ball, Cincy was like, nope, it's our ball and our game. And so do you think that the play calling at the end of the game with the expectation of getting the ball back and not getting the ball back, was it arrogant? Was it a good play call? Did they take a chance? Was it a risk that wasn't worth taking? How do you feel about that play?
So I don't know that it was a risk worth taking. I mean, hindsight is 2020. So now we can say that no, that was not a good call. Kansas City, the problem and the concern that I have is like they can't get past Cincinnati and they keep making the same kinds of mistakes in each of this game. They build a lead, and then somehow they end up losing the game. Yeah. And so it's like they start getting a little bit complacent, aka Lincoln Riley, but that's a whole nother story. They start getting a little bit complacent, but the defense, the defense to me, the Chiefs defense was not getting any pressure on Joe Burrow. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to leave it in my defense's hands to get us the ball back. That's just
right.
They weren't doing a good enough job. Like they couldn't, there was no pressure. Cincinnati did whatever they wanted to do on every scoring drive.
Right.
And even though they got that 1 4th down stop, I mean, they couldn't do anything. It's just another recurring thing. And it's weird to me that it keeps going that way. So they were doing 3-man rush, they were blitzing, they were doing 4-man rush, but they never could get close to him. Like they did not, I don't think he got touched even. I mean, so to me, I'm not going to leave it in the hands of the defense when clearly the defense cannot handle them. So I'm not surprised they didn't get the ball back. It was too easy for Cincinnati to move the ball. So in that scenario, I feel like they should not have done that, because I feel like you're trying to put the ball back thinking you're going to get it back based on what?
Right. Based off of what?
I'm like, you haven't.
So the Chiefs once again fall to Cincinnati Bengals, and they didn't have Joe Mixon. They had Samaje Perine though. And Jamar Chase just came back for the first time in weeks from his hip injury. So I'm like, they're only going to get better.
It just was not good. And I mean, even when you have a point where Joe Burrow is running through arm tackles by the linebackers, you know what I'm saying? Like it was just that defense. I don't know. That's bad. The tackling was horrible.
It's looking a little sketchy right now.
But they had that same issue last year. They had that same issue last season. And so I don't, and it hasn't changed much. Your star player is the quarterback. Trust that.
Yeah. Because that's the thing. Those two teams, it always ends up falling on the shoulders of their quarterbacks in these games. So great game, Cincinnati. Horrible loss for the Chiefs. The 49ers played the Dolphins this week. And, okay, so the 49ers just lost Jimmy G for the rest of the season to a foot injury. Okay, so here's the deal. Y'all know Jimmy G is the backup quarterback to Trey Lance, who got injured in the first couple of games earlier this season. So Jimmy G was playing backup, but mind you, Jimmy G was their starting QB that led them to the daggone playoffs before. So all of these 49ers, it's a bunch of people who are Jimmy G haters. And I'm like, why won't they put some respect on this man's name? The 49ers, y'all, with Jimmy G, are 38-17. With him, with all of their 50 other quarterbacks, they are 9-29. So understand that Jimmy G plays well in that scheme. However it works for them, he does well. Now what happens is that now the starting quarterback is going to be their
the backup of the backup.
The backup to the backup, Mr. Irrelevant, okay? Brock Purdy. Mr. Irrelevant was the 262nd pick of this year's draft. Who is Brock Purdy besides Mr. Irrelevant?
Who ever freaking heard of Brock Purdy?
Huh?
I never even heard of Brock Purdy before.
Right. He went to Iowa State. But y'all, let me tell you, when he came in the game, he went 25 of 37, 210 yards that he threw, 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. He went out there and he looked like a starting QB. He looked like, let me tell you what he looked like. Brock Purdy came on the field and Cooper rushed him. That's what he did. He stepped in that role as the starting QB and played the game with great poise and did what he was supposed to do. And they ended up winning the game. And so I don't feel like they're going to go down. Their production is gonna decrease at all with Brock Purdy starting, especially because they do well with backup QBs.
I wouldn't say it wouldn't decrease any. I mean, I think the other thing that contributed to the loss is Tua just didn't really play well. You know what I'm saying? Like he had 2 interceptions, a fumble loss. Like he was kind of off. So he didn't necessarily have a good game. That also helped San Francisco. But when you got Christian McCaffrey Debo Samuel, it makes things a little bit easier.
Yes, it does. And I mean, I'm not concerned about Brock Purdy at all. But like Benji said, he said he's a good fit for Shanahan's system. And I just think the Shanahan system works well for revolving QBs. It really does. It
Apparently.
does not, they don't drop off and then they don't make it to the playoffs when they have injuries in the QB position, like a lot of teams do. But like I said, Brock Purdy, Cooper rushed them, came out there and won the game for the 49ers. Okay, we got to move on. Y'all, I just want to put this out there that AJ Brown, like ill, because he's a daggone Philadelphia Eagle, but he had a phenomenal, like, revenge game on the Tennessee Titans. Like, this man had the ultimate revenge game with 156 yards and 3 touchdowns. What? If I'm the Tennessee Titans fans, I am livid with the front office. Like, y'all let him go? Why?
Right.
Y'all let him go to the Eagles. Anyway, the Bucks. I just wanted to mention that the Bucks beat the Saints by 1 point, and Tom Brady bradied in the fourth quarter and beat the Saints. I said that already, but it sounds good coming out. Beat the Saints by 1 point. Yay.
They've been struggling so much against them. It's like the Saints had his number, but I'm glad they finally pulled it off, and I can get those Saints fans out my ears because, God dang.
That gives me so much great joy.
It does. It just gives you a warm, fuzzy feeling on the inside. It does.
So Deshaun Watson, y'all, had his NFL debut with the Cleveland Browns this past week. He didn't have an excellent game. He went 12 of 22 through 431 yards. He had an interception. I think it's too early to be concerned. I just think it's too early. And really and truly, like, what it looked like was that Jacoby Brissett? No. Yes, Jacoby Brissett. That he works better for the offensive scheme in Cleveland. So right now, I think Deshaun Watson's going to need a few weeks. I think he's going to need a few weeks, but I think the Cleveland fans, like, chill out, give him a little bit. Y'all ain't going to the playoffs anyway, so this is just practice. Okay. And then lastly, Sedell. Okay, here's my question for y'all.
Whoa.
What?
I'm sorry, Coach Ingram. I surely we're not talking about the Eagles. Surely
we don't even put blasphemy like that up on the screen.
Yeah, I gotta talk to Kellen about that. We gotta see what's going on with that.
What is with hey, somebody, it's glitching. I'm just seeing too many Eagles and stuff on our screens.
Right. What's really happening?
So, okay. Lamar Jackson is out with the sprained knee. They played the Broncos. Y'all, the game was horrendous. Yeah. The Ravens and the Broncos 10-9. Okay.
I so want Russ to do better.
We talked about Russ last week. I just don't even understand it for the life of me. But in real life, should Lamar Jackson have been playing without a contract? And now that he is injured, will that affect his contract going forward?
I mean, did we not have this scenario? Did we not have this same scenario?
We did, but we ain't the Ravens either.
So, but I mean, I'm just saying. So I don't know if it's going to affect it or not, because at the end of the day, first of all, you can't go anywhere without a good QB. And even though I'm not as he keeps calling them the e-girls, that is so funny to me.
That is.
But even though I feel Coach Williams, come on now.
This is like, really, y'all, what is with all of these Eagles fans on our live? Do y'all know what city we in?
Right. But I like Lamar a lot. I do feel that the way he plays makes it, a little bit dangerous for him, especially without a contract. But
Yes.
I don't feel that it's going to. I agree, Benji. I don't feel that it's going to affect him getting paid because they're going to have to pay him because they don't. I mean, regardless of what you feel about his playing style, he definitely trusts his legs and himself more than he seems to trust his arm and his teammates. He does. Whether that changes or not, I don't know. But at the end of the day, right now, he's one of the top hottest things going, and he makes that team go. So you can't just Dallas. We're in the Dallas area, David. So we're in the Dallas area. See all that Cowboy stuff up there?
Oh yeah. We're in DFW.
We cheer for the Cowboys,
the home of the Cowboys, and we cheer for Hook'em Horns too.
Yeah, I cheer for a lot of people in football though, in college football. But I cheer for the Hook'em Horns as well. But I do feel like he's gonna get paid. I don't feel like it's going to unless something dramatic happens. But right now they don't really have any other options. And I mean, I'm not being funny. That's where we were with Dak. Like you can't risk losing him. You don't have a viable option. So yeah, I don't.
Oh, you're right, because we had Andy Dalton.
Who I thought was going to be a viable option when we first got him, but Lord Jesus.
Andy Dalton did what he needed to do, but then but Dak was out like way too long for that.
Andy Dalton did not do what he needed to do.
For like a game and a half, Sadell, he did. Like, I'm not going to turn a blind eye to Andy Dalton. Like, thank you for stepping in. You know what I'm saying? But he didn't Cooper Rush.
Right.
He didn't Cooper
All
Rush.
he needed to do was maintain. He lost his freaking mind. He lost his mind. But anyway, I don't know that it's going to affect. I don't think that it's going to affect his contract. I feel like he's still going to get paid. Now, what he's going to get paid, I don't know. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's all about America's team. I agree.
Yes, Benji, they would. So David wants to know what about the Giants? What about them?
I agree. That's what I'm trying to. That's what I was wondering. Like what?
We're not concerned about the Giants or the Commandos.
The Washington football team.
The
column, whatever. It don't matter.
Yes, because for what? We're not concerned about them. Andy Dalton was trash, and some Cowboys fans wanted him over Dak. Look, I was not one of those fans. I didn't say Andy Dalton was trash. Now, his play in New Orleans, that's another story. But
I just thought he was going to be a viable backup. Like, I really thought that he was going to be able to come in. Right, the littles. I thought he was going to be able to come in and like hold his own. That was my expectation. Like, I really thought that he was going to be a great. I'm like, man, we got the great backup. So that just didn't happen.
So David is saying that they're only 1.5 games away. Okay, but listen. So did they just tie with the Commandos? They did. Okay.
Commanders.
Do we have a tie? No. Have we beat them? Yes. I'm not concerned about them. That's what
I'm not concerned about them. We get past December 24th and we win out like that.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
We will win out. You're absolutely right. So, okay. So that's what I have. I went super fast to talk about the NFL and of course my Dallas Cowboys winning and so on and so forth, because this week has been bananas in all of the other sports news, especially with college football. Okay, Sadell, go ahead.
Right. So let's start talking about these. He said, whatever. Let's start talking about these college football playoffs. Now, this whole thing was crazy. So now in the college football playoffs, we have Georgia, Michigan, TCU, and Ohio State. TCU literally got in by the hair of their chinny chin chin. Yeah. And I'm telling you, I guarantee if TCU had a game like USC, TCU would not be in there and Alabama would be in there. They just rallied back and made it a 3-point game. Yeah. If they had gotten blown out by 20 points, they were not going to put them in there. I guarantee. Right. If you listen to the commissioner's interview after the selection committee announcement, He was basically saying, like, we were trying to do everything we could to get it right. We looked at the fact that TCU was able to rally back and make it a close game. And he talked about, like, and so they asked him specifically as to why they ranked them in that order. Was it because they did not want a repeat of Michigan and Ohio right away, right?
Yeah.
And he kept saying, no. I'm not trying to find Alabama scenarios, but what I am saying is that because they asked him about that even before they did the selection, they were asking him about what he was like. Yeah, of course we see Nick Saban. He's on everybody's interviewing. He's on every show. He's making his case. He's like, right. At the end of the day, we really just want to get this right. We want to have the right teams in there. Yeah. I do feel like had they not put TCU in with that one loss, they would have had a great amount of backlash. You know, since the college football playoffs have been in existence in this format, there's never been a 2-loss team in there. And I do get that. However, they want to make the games as competitive as possible, and they look at things like that. So when USC lost, and then so this USC game, and it's crazy because the one thing they talk about is Lincoln Riley and not being able to build a defense. He said, my real last name is Saban. It's not. He's a different kind of dude. But USC just finds a way to give the game up. Like, he doesn't make smart decisions in the defense. Now, what he does do, he can build a Heisman Trophy quarterback. Like, he does. But I don't know if he just doesn't put the right defensive coordinators in position. But at the end of the game, that's just what in big games, they can never keep the lead. They always end up losing. Right. But this dude, when I tell you this freaking quarterback, he is definitely special. When you think about all the stuff that he went through in this game. So he comes in and Williams comes and he has a hamstring injury in the first freaking quarter. At that point, and I'll be honest, you could see Lincoln Riley was like, what the freak am I going to do? Like, at that point, to be honest, the game was over. Yeah. So Alabama sucks. I don't know. And I'm not even an Alabama fan and everyone thinks I am, but I'm just saying they just find ways to get stuff done. I definitely would not say they suck. I mean, they don't suck. Right. So, I mean, they A&M is not bad. A&M has some good showings. There'll probably be some talk about, to be honest, the good thing about this past year is you saw a lot of things. You saw Texas have some great runs and some great wins. And so Georgia's, I don't know. Georgia's still going to be Georgia. And Alabama is still going to be Alabama. But when you get movement where you get a different team in the mix, because that was the other thing. Everybody's tired of seeing the same teams over and over and over. Yes. So now all of a sudden you got TCU in there with a great opportunity.
That is a great opportunity, especially with the loss.
Utah definitely made everyone happy in Soonerland, and I agree. But this dude he's probably going to win the Heisman Trophy. I mean, he is just a phenomenal player, and that's the one thing that Lincoln Riley has been able to do. Now, TCU, can you imagine what everybody was going through after that loss? I mean, can you imagine sitting on pins and needles, trying to wait for this announcement to see what's going to happen? Yeah. And especially they seeing the same stuff that the committee is seeing with all these other people going on, right? And, talking about their team and how they should be in there. But the Horned Frogs, the first team from Texas in the first Big 12 member, not named Oklahoma, of course, to make it to the college football playoff. So outside of Oklahoma, they're the only ones in the first Texas team. And so that's big for Texas. But I think that's just the beginning, because the University of Texas is making moves to put the thing that happened, for one, is this name, image, and likeness thing. Texas has a lot of money. Yeah. And so when it comes down to, if I can pull a kid and pay him $1 million, $800,000, $300,000, everybody can't pay that. Yeah. So let's go TCU. So at this point, that's what I'm about. Right now, TCU is definitely the best team in Texas.
They are better than Baylor, better. But see, but next season though, next season we will see when it comes to Texas, because like you were saying with this transfer portal and who Texas has for 2023,
So
y'all better
Texas
watch.
has recruited the top QB, and he's recruited one of the top receivers. He's recruited several of the top like they have some ammunition going in, and it may not happen next year, right? Because there'll be freshmen coming in, but it's going to be different. It's building, but it's just good to finally see that there's going to be some mix up to where everything is not the same and so one sided, every year.
Right.
But so they go through. But I'm just saying, just imagine being here, you done lost this game, and everybody's saying if you lose, you're out. Now, I do still agree if they lost by double digits, it was gonna be, but they lost the game, and now they get to face Michigan in the Big Ten championship. Now, are they gonna beat Michigan? But
That's
next
going to
season,
be a
though,
good game. And what I did see from Max Duggan, that's the TCU quarterback, this man went on the field and gave it his all. Like they were behind, and we were just like, "Oh, this is it for TCU."
Yeah.
But for them to come back, like he really left everything out on the field, and like that right there to me is like Heisman winner, like ambiance, like that type of persona that he exhibited on Saturday. But you think that Caleb Williams is going to get it hands down?
Caleb Williams he's a different dude. I mean, even with the injury, even with all the issues that he was having, like he finished that game, and it was hard to watch, to be honest, because after they took the lead, I think like early in the third quarter, and you could see like all the gas was gone out of them. But this dude just overall has just played a tremendous season. Like his numbers, like I don't know who else they would be able to give it to now. And that's the thing that they talk about with
Stinnett. You don't think the Georgia QB has as good of a chance as Caleb Williams?
No, I think he's definitely going to be in the running, but I think Caleb Williams is going to win. I do. I definitely do. My other thing is the thing that they keep saying, which is true with Lincoln Riley, he can't. So you leave this school, take a few with you, and he did. I mean, he turned their program around. He brought them. How much time we got? We got okay.
You got time.
Yeah, so he actually was able to turn the program around. I think they won 8 more games than they won just last year. And so he's done a lot of things for the program, but to not be able to get past this. And then he lives and dies by his QB. So if his QB is not doing they don't. Like there's no backup plan. There's no defense. There's no let's still, but he starts getting really frantic. And so they up, and then he starts changing everything that they're doing. And you could see it's more out of panic than anything. And that's how they ended up losing that game. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how TCU fares up against Michigan, but I don't know who's going to beat Georgia.
So Ant said that Caleb Williams looked too bad in their 2 losses, and Stetson Bennett had no awful games. So, and that was one of.
You can't really count the last one. I mean, he literally popped his hamstring on a like 60-yard run. So I don't know if you can count. Somebody said Herschel Walker. Oh, Jesus.
Oh my gosh. Okay. He said somebody said Herschel Walker would be State's next head coach. Oh my gosh. David said,
yeah, see, David, that's my thing. I don't know how TCU is going to be able to stand up to Michigan. Now, Georgia and Michigan will be a good game, but I just feel like Georgia just has a lot of firepower, and I don't know. Yeah. I don't know who's going to overcome them. And you can see it even last year. I mean, last year they were on a different level, and they came back fully loaded, and they on that level again. They've kind of like started building this dynasty and this tradition. again, I do feel like some of that is changing over, but we'll be looking forward to those games. I cannot wait. New Year's Eve is going to be rocking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we get some good games this weekend too.
Oh yeah, some of those bowl games.
Yeah.
I don't honestly I don't watch as many of those bowl games. It's kind of like the Cotton Bowl game should be pretty good. I don't watch as many of those bowl games because I guess I'm just looking forward to the actual college football playoff games. But we will have a big bowl game here at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas this year. So I'm trying to remember. Did you say you were going to that game? Someone I was talking to was saying they were going out to the Cotton Bowl.
No, but I will gladly go if someone wants to gift us tickets.
If someone wants to gift us tickets, we would definitely be there. Whoa, wait a minute. So the other thing we got to keep in mind this weekend, there's going to be some good games in high school. And I just want to throw this in before I forget. So right now in the playoffs for this area, we still have, of course, those Golden Bears of South Oak Cliff. They're playing 2 games away from back-to-back state championships. Like just being at this point is historical. Just being at this point is historical. And, you know, from the outside in, it's easy to say, okay, whatever was going on. There was a lot of talk early on about them not being able to win and all the stuff that was happening. But these dudes have overcome a lot of adversity and they find a way to will themselves to win a game that everybody's saying that they don't have a chance to win.
Right.
So I'm looking forward to that. Like being at this point, they're in the state semifinals now.
Okay.
And being able to, Denton Guyer QB is a beast. I'm going to get to that link. Being in this position to be able to compete for another state championship in 2 consecutive seasons, like for an urban school in this area, is unheard of. So like, I'm so excited for them. Coach Todd, Coach Ingram, I'm gonna have to pray about because he's coming on here with this Eagle stuff. But Coach Ingram, Coach Wheatfall, my dude, all of those coaches, man, they work so hard. They put so many hours in. And so I'm really looking forward to this. Now, DeSoto is playing Denton Guyer. Denton Guyer QB is monstrous. The only reason why I feel that this game may be a little bit different is because it's going to be a high-scoring game. I don't feel like Denton Guyer's defense can stop DeSoto, and I don't know that DeSoto's defense can stop Denton Guyer. It's going to be a matter of who can score the fastest and the most often. I don't know that like they have a lot of firepower. And then Duncanville is also playing this weekend. Coach Samples, so Coach Todd, who is at South Oak Cliff High School, used to work for Coach Samples at Duncanville. Mm-hmm. So that even itself would be historical for both of them to win a state championship in the same year. We were trying to get that to happen last year. It's a tough road. Yeah. But hopefully we'll be in, what did he say? Chapel Hill representing Tyler, Texas. Cujo will be back. Dallas don't run. I don't think I understand that because I know we're not saying Dallas don't run. Oh. Is he signed with them? Are you sure? Right. I mean, did he commit to OU? I don't know.
Why would he do that?
Oh, yeah. Denton Guyer has a strong, and they always do. Denton Guyer is almost like one of those factories where they kind of get people in and out. And so they've had a growing thing. It's been going and it's been ongoing. Who just said that? Okay, so let's talk about this Deion thing.
Girl, okay, I'm ready because I've been all week I've zipped it because I was waiting on today. Okay, go ahead.
So Dallas don't run, Cujo coming back. Yeah, okay. So we were on the same page for a minute there, you know, but Dallas don't run for nothing. We don't, you know what Kobe said? We don't quit, we don't cower, we don't run. Simple as that. Whatever you got, whatever firepower you got, send it. So we're ready. Cujo, I hope you can live up to that name. Cujo got shot at the end though, right? He got killed at the end of the movie. I'm just saying, I don't know. That's what I remember. But, you know, anyway.
That's the part they're trying to remember.
So let's talk about this Deion Sanders thing.
Yes.
And it's so crazy because there's been so much talk. So this is a thing that's so funny because probably about 2 weeks ago, so Deion has someone on his staff who they always kind of play jokes on each other.
Mm.
So he's doing an interview with Dion, and he was joking. He's like, "Hey Dion, I'm going out to see the Broncos play. So am I riding with you?" And he was joking about it. And Dion was like, "What you talking about, man?" And he was like, "I mean, I'm going to Colorado, so I'm just asking, are we riding together, or what's up? What are we gonna do?" And Dion was like, "Man, that's a good one. That's a good one. I can't believe you set me up like that, but that's a really good one. That's a good one." And they just kind of joked it off. But then it was like, wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
So Dion is leaving SWAC, Jackson State, and he's going to Colorado.
Yes.
And so he's gotten so much backlash. He's gotten backlash from people saying that he's a sellout. They've been saying that must be the money. Like they started putting memes and all that stuff saying that was a reporter, I thought. That was actually someone that was someone that was with, and it might be a reporter, but it's someone that's always with them. So I don't know if he is part of Jackson State that reports to them or someone else. But everyone's giving him a lot of flack. Like he just built this program up and now he's leaving them, or he just came and gave them all this hope and now he's leaving them. To me, to be honest, I'm just like, he stayed there for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And he did bring a lot of visibility to SWAC. Like he did. He packed the house out for those games. I'm gonna be honest, the one thing that Dion does, and I can't speak for football because I'm not on the football side, but for basketball, Dion recruits.
Yeah. Like
I don't see a lot of HBCU coaches at our basketball games. I don't see a lot.
So oftentimes there's not a whole lot to offer as far as scholarships,
but
incentives.
To me, when Dion is out there doing all this stuff and making it and bringing more awareness, and then you have Black Lives Matter, to me, I would have just been, just within Dallas, there's a few not in a driving range. There's a few HBCUs that I would just have expected or wanted to see more, just to at least get, because not everybody is going to get a major scholarship. So some of these kids just want to play, and how better they would want to play at an HBCU. So it's just a different kind of experience. So I've heard. I didn't attend one, but everyone that I know attended one loved it. And so I just wish that that's going to happen. But see, Benji, do we know that's to be true? Like, I don't know that to be true, and that's why I didn't bring it up. The only thing we know that he was making $300,000 a year. I don't know definitely, like there's been rumors that he was giving half of it back, but we don't know that. Now, he did have money to go to other states and do stuff that a lot of those teams don't have. But my take is the same ones who are criticizing him would have been the same ones asking to fire him if he wasn't successful. That too.
Very true. True.
That too. Now,
what he was though.
Dion is just he's a personable person. So he goes out there and he gets the kids fired up, and he's so are you saying you coach at Prairie View, or are you saying you attended Prairie View?
I think
but he goes out there and he does a lot of things that I just wish we saw a lot more of. My thing now is that we know it can happen. Right. We know that we can get kids to go there. We may not get the 5-star recruits, but we can get some quality kids to go there and keep building on it. Because it's just like if you start a job and you have this project and you complete this project, and then they say, hey, you did such a good job on this project, let's move you over here. So you've done it and you built it, you put something in place that we know can be modeled, then somebody else can come in and take that mantle. So instead of complaining and trying to down him, I feel like that's something that we can keep going. At the end of the day, this dude is going to be making 100 times what he's making right now.
$5 million.
It can't be, we can say must be the money. You can say all that, but so to go from $300,000, which is a significant amount from an HBCU, to $30 million. So I agree. He put SWAC on the map. He put SWAC on the map, and you can say
nationally televised games. uh college game day there in Jackson.
And
He
then just
not only got money for the school, but for the city.
for the city, but not even just for the city, because he's playing HBCUs.
Yep.
So the same, if you're on if you're on a national television program playing Jackson State, then your program is getting visibility too.
So you don't think that part of the upset is who he is and what his persona and his person, just him as a person, him as a former Dallas Cowboy, brings to Jackson State? Because like you said, yes, he has kind of left the roadmap. This is how you go about this. But not everybody is Deion Sanders. We know that. And so they're going to want to give somebody else an opportunity, absolutely, but they want somebody with the same type of notoriety that can bring the same type of publicity, the same type of money to Jackson and to Jackson State. But that, I don't see that being super realistic to the Deion effect. You know what I'm saying? Like, what other coaches are going to come in the back of Deion in his shadow at Jackson State, and for 3 successful seasons and great recruiting classes and all this money and notoriety, and take that position or any other small programs? That's a lot of weight to have on your shoulders. And when you have somebody like a Deion, like, you want to keep him and you don't want to let him go. And I understand that, but I do feel like maybe part of the upset is just who he is, and that they won't be able to replace that part.
So, but I mean, just in general, who Deion is, have the Cowboys ever replaced him at corner? I mean, I'm just saying, just in general, who Deion is, there hasn't been a replacement. You know what I'm saying? There just hasn't. He came in with his jewelry on, and he just, he's prime time for a reason. Like, Deion is not a person that's going to be replaced. He's a different kind of dude. He has his own whatever. They said he's a mix of TD Jakes and some rapper, I don't know. But, I'm just saying, that's just the kind of swag that he brings. And so it is a lot different. But for me, I just feel like, even as a coach, you want to, you built this program up. Now, and I'm just gonna, one thing that so he leaves, and he literally released all of the commits that were committed to come to Colorado. So these kids who committed, now that part, but again, he's going to Colorado, right? So now he's moving up in Power 5 school. So now he has to win. So he's taking some of his kids from Jackson State. Even if he hadn't won the way he did, like, he went 12-0. If he hadn't done that, they would still be, it's Deion, whatever. But you go to freaking Colorado, he has to win. So I get the business aspect of it. He's bringing some of his own people, and he wants to build his own team. He doesn't want, but there's kids from Dallas. There's kids from Dallas who had committed to Colorado, so that, but anyway, he basically released all those commits, and he's going to build his own team. But from his perspective, he has to come in and make a splash now. He can't come in and have a mediocre season. He can't come in and win 1 or 2 more games than they won last year. He has to have an instant turnaround season. He's not going to get the grace that he would have gotten at Jackson State. He's not going to get the grace that any other coach that would have taken that position would get.
So that was part of one of the conversations about people being upset, is that they feel like he was gifted this job, that he didn't deserve it. He didn't earn it, because he did coach at an HBCU. So they're like, well, can we really tell if he can coach? Do we really know if he's a good coach? And I just feel like that argument was really, I can't even think of a good word that wouldn't be inappropriate.
So what do you judge? So because he went 12-0, because he was able to recruit and bring in the top players, because he
Yeah.
was able to bring a staff and build a staff around him, which now his staff is going with him to Colorado, which is also going to increase the quality of their lives, because it's not just about
Yeah.
him. Like, this is affecting a lot of people. But
right. So Zion said that now he can schedule those schools to play SWAC schools. I hope that's in the plan, but you know that isn't necessarily all his decision. For
well, and
one,
that's not going to happen for a few years. And that's
I
only going
think
to
that's
happen if he goes in and makes a big splash and he has that. But I don't see that happening, like, right, because it doesn't benefit them. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make, because the risk he has, if you're at Colorado and you get beat by Jackson State, now you got a problem.
Oh,
so
yeah.
You don't want to take those kind of risks. And like I think Link said, he is taking a great risk, because he is going to have to go and he's going to have to perform, and he's going in and he's building everything. He's taking his staff with him. He's bringing in his own kids. And at the end of the day, he's trying to win. Now, my thing is, so you can go from, you can go from AAU coaching, then all of a sudden you're coaching at a top high school, then all of a sudden maybe you're at a college, and then you have an opportunity to go to a professional sport. So the odds of him leaving Jackson State and going to the NFL is very slim, regardless of how many wins that he has, because the same thing that people are saying, that you can't tell if he coaches because of who he's playing.
Right.
That's what people are going to be saying. So if he is able, so he says Grambling played Georgia, and they did, but Georgia is different. Yeah. I'm talking about Deion's first couple of years in there. He's not going to be able to risk having that kind of game. TCU is different. And then basketball is different. I mean, basketball, they kind of allow those kind of games. Yeah. But I'm talking about in football, for him to be going into this program right now, I just don't know how much flexibility he's going to have in being able to incorporate that. Now, can he have influence on asking other Power 5 teams to play those kind of games? Can he? That's all going to depend. So you got a lot of these coaches, let me not even say a lot, some of these coaches hating on him because of what he did being at Jackson State.
Right.
And now you have coaches hating on him because of him leaving. Yeah. So if he goes in and he's talking to other Power 5 coaches and saying, hey, you may want to play such and such, and these coaches are not receptive because it's him, right? Because that's always a possibility, then that's also going to be an issue. It's kind of like, and I'm not going to say crabs in the barrel, but at the end of the day, to me,
yes,
I mean, if that's what he thinks is in the best interest of him and his family, then who am I to say that that's not what he should do? We know what he's done. And he's already said, my kid is coming. So he's looking out for his coaching staff. He's looking out for his kids, his family, which is normal, right? I want to put those dudes in the best position to be able to get whatever they need. But along the way, I'm going to help these other kids as much as I can. And that's what he's done. So, I mean, I can't fault him for leaving. I can't fault him for, packing up. I can't really fault him for cutting all those commits. I don't necessarily like it, but I understand it. You know what I'm saying? It's business, and that's what it's going to be going forward.
You're talking about the business there. Just real quick, he has the defensive coordinator from Alabama on his team, and he has like a former Minnesota Vikings head coach joining too. This is really legit business, because if he does not perform with the team that he's recruiting and the coaching staff that they're giving him,
and the team and the kids he's bringing with him from Jackson State, and that's what he said. He had a post basically saying, I'm bringing my crew with me. Like, he literally was just like, I'm bringing my crew with me, so y'all go ahead and jump in that portal. That was kind of a message to, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are you talking about? But anyway, it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Everybody's going to be watching, and everybody's going to be watching Jackson State. Hopefully, they'll still get to have some kind of national visibility.
Link says, what kind of deal did HBCU teams get from networks? And
that's what I was just saying. I don't know necessarily that they even got deals. But my hope is that they don't go back to being
Nope.
obscure. Yeah,
Science says Jackson State should step up and make a better deal. He exposed them about the money.
you can't
First of
compete
all,
with
you
30
can't
million.
offer somebody some money you don't have.
But you know what? Check this out though. The athletic director at Colorado did admit we don't know how we're gonna pay him yet. Like we made him this offer, it's 29 million over like 5 years. It's like 29.5 million over 5 years. But he did say we don't know exactly how we're gonna pay him yet. But you can't expect Jackson State. You can't expect Jackson, Alcorn, Grambling, Southern all together to come up with $30 million to pay him to stay.
But with Colorado, they got boosters, they got alum, they got whatever recruits and stuff. I'm pretty sure that if NIL money, that a portion of it, some of it has to go to the school. So I don't think that Colorado is going to have an issue
right
paying him. At the end of the day, I don't think that that's going to be an issue at all.
Okay, so we just got a couple minutes.
Yes.
Just real quick, one thing that we didn't talk about last week that I just kind of wanted to mention very quick, like in the last 2 minutes, is this photo that's circulating with Jerry Jones. And it was interesting because LeBron was in an interview and he was like, the last interview, as soon as I got on, y'all started asking me about Kyrie. Y'all started asking what I thought about that. Why y'all ain't asking me about this picture of Jerry Jones floating around? And what the picture is, it shows him, may not have been 5 million, but maybe 2 million. And I get that, but we're talking about 30 million. Like,
it's a difference.
I don't know how you turn $30 million down. I don't know. But so he's going through, and in this picture, it was like back in 1957, and it was in Little Rock, Arkansas, when schools were just being integrated. There's 6 Black students and a group of white students standing outside. Jerry Jones, you can see him toward the back, just right at the end of the picture in this photo. And so what was happening is they were basically saying, hey, we don't want y'all here, blah, 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 whatever. Now, the only thing is, from their perspective, Jerry Jones has still not apologized for that. And I don't know, I don't know. So they're just like, it was so long ago, but that's not so long ago. You know what I'm saying? That's not so long ago. And I think that's just a reminder of how recent segregation was. Right. But at the end of the day, Shahami from public office. No, I don't think so, Link. You're saying that.
So he's saying, you're right. I see what he's saying. He said, in the summer of 1969, I joined the Black Panthers. Should that haunt me from public office, etc. And I really think it depends. I think something like that is like on a case by case basis. In this situation with Jerry Jones, he was a 14-year-old kid doing what 14-year-olds do. You follow the crowd and you look and you're nosy and you're wanting to find out what's going on. So exactly. I don't know if he said anything. I don't know if he threw anything, spit, did anything negative, but we know he was there.
Well, I think the issue came because the people were saying, like, when it came up, he just never said anything. Mm-hmm. Like, he never responded to it, he didn't. And then when he finally did come out, and I agree, he's 14 years old, and he did say it was just out of curiosity. He didn't really know what was going on, and he probably didn't know what was going on. And I don't know, the thing that he does is, I'm not saying it should be made a big deal. What I'm saying is the way that LeBron addressed it, because even the stuff with Kyrie, some of the things that they do make a big deal should not necessarily be a big deal.
Right.
Some of the stuff that they bring to them in their interviews is like a little bit of nothing. To be honest, even with that thing with Atlanta Hawks, even with that thing with God dang it, why can't I think?
Atlanta Hawks. I mean, are you talking about recent?
Yes. Okay, I'm crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there's things that happen, that sometimes it's just minor and sometimes it's just stuff that's in between the team. Case in point, Jerry Jones was talking about why Zeke didn't start, and he was saying, no, Zeke is not benched. That's nothing that's going on. It was a little thing that happened, it's a little thing that happened, and that's between the coaches. I'm not even going to address it. It was basically,
right.
you know, maybe being late to a meeting, something. It was a little bit of nothing.
Answer the phone during practice.
Right. So they bring up stuff like that. And so that was LeBron's point. Like, y'all bringing up this stuff, but then when it's on the other foot, you don't ask. So that's kind of where that came from. But anyway, my era made a lot of black men millionaires and very successful. Yeah.
He has. That's very true. And I mean, I don't think anybody is 100% all the way left or 100% all the way right. And I mean, there is a certain thing is grace. I look at this picture and see a 14-year-old doing what 14-year-olds do. I feel like if he's done anything recently, if he said anything that was out of line when it comes to race or anything like that, then I think this would be a bigger story. If the players who have played for him over decades would say that, if they said Jerry Jones is a racist and Jerry Jones was this, that, and the other, but that has not been the case. And we have had former Dallas Cowboys on this show, and they sing praises about Jerry Jones.
Most of them do. I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. We do have to get out of here.
We do. And I do agree. I mean, I think the thing is, yeah, I'm sure that seems to be a thing, especially 14-year-old boys. They different. But I do agree that at the end of the day, that's where we were at that point. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I do get LeBron's point about them not bringing it up, but I also understand that at that time, it was segregated. I mean, my aunts, they talk about it, and they didn't want to integrate. Like, they did not want to go to the white school. They wanted to stay at their own school. So it was just a lot going on in the country at that time. But anyway, that's it. We went way over. We're not way over, but we went a little bit over our time.
Couple minutes.
But thank you guys so much for tuning in. We appreciate you week in and week out. And if no one told you they love you this week, just know that we definitely love you.
We do. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next week.